Okay, this episode has spoilers for Mr. Glass. Whoop whoop! No, seriously though, I can actually talk about what I feel like talking about now, since Mr. Glass is now out, and some people have probably already seen the spoiler ending. There's all kinds of stuff that I really want to talk about in regards to the film, but because I got the chance to see it before other people, I wasn't permitted, because there's a nice little letter from M. Night saying, please do not spoil the ending prior to release. And since we've had a whole weekend for this, let's get started! Whoop whoop! Okay, so one of the things that I do want to talk about is the fact that Unbreakable, The Split, and Mr. Glass all have a nice little tidy up ending all to it. It all connects, right? So Unbreakable, I remember when it first came out, I went to Hollywood Video and Blockbuster to get the tape. Split, I saw that I think like through Netflix or one of my like online thingy was or whatever. Mr. Glass is saw in a theater. So now here's the best part. Now in regards to like the acting, right? Okay, now I know some people are like, oh my god, you should have seen James's performance in The Split. Y'all ain't seen nothing. If you haven't seen Mr. Glass, you have not seen James act. I am not kidding. When he's playing, okay, I'm sorry, Kevin, Polly, Dennis, Miss Patricia, the Beast, James has some serious problems. Like, I feel like after doing Mr. Glass, after doing the Glass movie, I feel like he needs to go see a psychiatrist, like a legit one that he's not gonna kill like he did in The Split. Like, let me tell you, there was all kinds of things that was going on, like like in The Split. Yes, his performance was fabulous. It was absolutely amazing, especially when you got to know the characters on a much deeper level, because if you were following the trend, right, you see that the psychiatrist recognizes the characters that he's playing, these other personalities that he has. She knows that she's not really talking to Barry. She knows this is really Dennis pretending to be Barry, right? So as you're following this and you're just sort of like seeing the comparison of his performance from The Split in Glass, there's no comparison, because he's making the switches in the same scene. Like, he's straight up switching in the same scene, which I thought was absolutely phenomenal. I also enjoyed the fact of Samuel L. Jackson's performance, as well as Bruce Willis, of course. Although every time I see Bruce Willis, I won't laugh like, yippee-ki mother, like I love Bruce for that. I grew up with all your diehards, I'm sorry. What was nice about Samuel L. Jackson's performance is that he wasn't yelling at anyone to, like, you know, get off his MF, you know, plane with, or get these snakes off the plane, you know, things like that. It's always nice to see a different version of Samuel L. Jackson than what his brand has become, which is him like yelling at people, like, you know, whenever you think of the book Go to Sleep, you're like, yeah, why don't you know, you think of Samuel L. Jackson in a certain way. So it's always nice whenever I see him playing Mr. Glass, because he's this feeble character who's really just a flipping amazing mastermind, right? You know what I mean? So it's always nice to see him doing something different like that, and then doing a very good job at it. And then Bruce Willis, props to you, yippee-ki-yay. I love what they did with his character as well. So what I'm going to say is that what they did with Bruce Willis is that his character was beginning to doubt himself. So he's sitting there trying to figure out if he really is a superhero, because when they start you off in the film, you kind of just learn the little things that he's doing now to keep himself busy, because he's still trying to be a hero, he's still trying to help people. His son's now gotten involved, you know, and his son is like helping him. He's running a small little business, you know, doing security cameras and things like that, you know, which kind of, I guess, makes legit sense. So this way he'd have security stuff laying around. You see that he's still going into these things, and his son is still trying to like let him know, hey, we can still do this, but maybe we should take a break. He decides not to take a break, and he ends up running into the Beast. So when he runs to the Beast is actually in the 9-year-old form, where he's like 9-year-old forever. Don't we all wish? But when he runs into him, he gets a feeling, and then due to the battle that they have, when he goes to go save these 3 other girls, who's supposed to be the new 3 girls, in comparison to what they did to Split. So if you did not see The Split, I apologize. I will try to run through real quickly and sum up something that's separate from The Split, but I'm just trying to like connect it all together. So if you didn't see The Split, there were 3 girls that needed to be devoured by the Beast, because that was their sacrifice for, you know, being impure. No, for being pure, but then I don't know, there's a lot of like impurity, and then there was so many questions on that end, at least for me, just because I probably studied so many religions. However, that's what they were continuing. So in Glass, you see this, there's another 3 set of girls, and he's like, oh, you guys are impure, you guys haven't suffered, you know, and that's really what the issue is. If you haven't suffered, obviously you need to be suffering by being eaten by the Beast. dark stuff, right? So what they do is that they show you his different personalities dealing with that 3 girls, and Bruce Willis comes in to go save them. So Unbreakable's on there like, oh, I'm save them, and then it's really where you get to see the full performance of the Beast, like full blown, where you see him crawling up the walls, crawling across the ceiling, right? So you see that these girls are like blown out of their mind. They're finally being rescued, but they're trying their best to get away. Him and the Beast fall out of like, I think, a 6-story window, hit the floor, land, and then continue their fight. Now here's the crazy part. There's a group of people outside who are trying to apparently capture them, and when they go capture them, they see this happen, and they just sort of continue on about their merry day. Like, so guys, we see you? Come on. Come over. Let's go. By the way, you guys like my jacket? So they end up in a mental institution. Unbreakable's kid, he's just trying to get him out. He's just like, no, you don't understand, my dad's not crazy. He was just trying to, you know, help and stuff. Like, he's just trying to find like another excuse for why this is okay. And then in the meantime, you flash over to the girl who was rescued, or who was released from the Beast, if you will, from the split. She shows up as well in this, sort of piecing together kind of what's going on. And while they're in this institution, they're being convinced that they're not superheroes, they're not superhumans, whether they're a villain or a hero or not. And it starts to break down the Unbreakable, which is interesting because you can see he's questioning himself, and it's just the fact of that little bit of doubt in his mind was enough to quote unquote weaken him, where he wasn't able to do the things that he was able to do, where he had, you know, a little extra superhuman strength. He didn't have those abilities in the way that he wanted to. It was suddenly like once his mind became weak, his body became weak. Tell you something, think about that. So here's the thing. So while this is all happening, the Beast, you know, with Kevin Wendell Crumb, the way he's thinking about it, the way the different characters who are taking the light, you can see it kind of affecting them, because the psychiatrist starts to break down Miss Patricia and Dennis, as if the Beast is obviously not real, and the way that the previous psychiatrist could not do once she realized who the Beast was before he killed her. So as this is all happening, you see the breakdown of all these characters. Now, during this whole time this is happening, Samuel L. Jackson Glass is just laying in a chair. He's lethargic. He's not moving. So you realize, and they sort of introduce the fact like, oh, he's taking a lot of meds. We have him like sedated 24/7. We have this on him, blah, blah, blah. Which is kind of weird, because I kept thinking like, why do you need to have him so heavily sedated? His bones are brittle. Where is he gonna go? Like, just like, I was just curious. So what was amazing that during this whole time, even when they put the 3 of them in the same room to admit, maybe, you know, you piece this and this together and that's how you found the girls, it's not because you're a hero. It's because you're smart enough to figure this and this out, but you gotta let go of this illusion that you're a superhuman. So Glass is just sitting in his chair, like straight up not moving, not blinking, not nothing, like, and this is throughout most of the movie. So you're just sitting there like, damn, he's like gone. Like, what did they do to him? So suddenly you realize he's playing everyone for a damn fool. Like, he is seriously just playing cards left and right. So it isn't until they sort of threaten him with I guess the new version of a lobotomy. That's really what they were hinting to, was supposed to be a lobotomy. And that's when suddenly he starts breaking out of his cell. He's like messing with them, moving stuff around. And they actually, the institution's staff finds him outside in front of his door, because he must have realized he ran out of time to close his door and stuff like that. He's in a wheelchair this whole time, right? And they just find him parked outside his door like. And the staff is like, Glass, how did you get out your room? No answer, just. And I'm sitting there like, yo, he playing with them. Yo, that's awesome, that's awesome, that's awesome, that's awesome. So finally Glass reaches out and he connects with the Beast, right? So he starts talking to Miss Patricia, and he's trying to explain to her, hey, they're lying to us. You know you have abilities. Have you lost faith in the Beast? Which by this point has already happened. Miss Patricia and Dennis, who were the ones who were, you know, raving on about the Beast and telling the kid about it and telling Barry, and, you know, stealing the light from Barry and telling him, no, this is the Beast, this is the Beast, he's real, he's real, he's real, he's real. They got Dennis to deny the horde. Like, it was straight up like not even real. So Glass starts to build up his faith again, right? Because he's just working on their mind. Like, no, you need to understand, this is you. This is who you are. They're just trying to take that from you. He goes, we're going to break out of here. And you're going to have your opportune moment to have your fight with Unbreakable over there. You didn't finish your fight last time. We're going to do this way. So he has this whole game plan how everything's supposed to go, right? Because, you know, Mr. Glass has always got some plans up his sleeve, right? So as this all happens, he's threatening Mr. Glass threatens Unbreakable, like, so there's this huge thing that's happening across the city, and if you don't show up, a bunch of people are gonna die. See you there. Like, that, he just plays it off like that. So now Bruce Willis is all freaking out, like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. But at this point, he's doubting himself. So he's trying to like ram himself into the door, ram himself into the door, ram himself into the door, and he's trying to get the door to open, but he can't get the door to open, right? Because his room is rigged that if he tries to ever break out, his room fills up with water and they drown him. Messed up, right? What kind of mental institution is that? But anyways, everyone has like different things for their rooms except for Mr. Glass, because they, you know, brittle bone disease. They're just like, he's not gonna do anything. So, so what ends up happening is Bruce is like going in for it, and then he starts to see the indents that he's doing inside of a steel door, and then it starts to kind of like replay in his head, like, maybe I am who I think I am. So that I really love the way how they really played that theme out. Then there's like the huge battle between you know, Unbreakable, you know, the Beast, and you see them like duking it out. And the beauty of it is that, spoiler, if you don't want to hear it, you just like stop right now. I'm so serious, like stop right now. The beauty of it is that Mr. Glass sort of set this thing up as a suicide, because they all die. Like, it's straight up messed up. Like, it's heart wrenching when you watch it. You're just like, oh. And there's this one scene that my body felt like it was made of glass, a bone brittle disease, when I saw Mr. Glass fall from his wheelchair and hear the glass get, and I was like, I'll never crack my fingers again. Like, you have no you have no idea. There was so much happening. So when they all die, they used the girl from Split, the one who escaped the Beast, or that was released from the Beast. They utilized her to actually get the Beast to calm down and call out Kevin Wendell Crumb, and to get him to relax and calm down, just so they could shoot him, because they obviously couldn't do it before when he was in beast mode. What? Like a beast? Nah. But so they do all that, and you sit there and you're like, crap, everyone dies. And one of the most powerful moments is that one of the consistent things that his mother, Mr. Glass's mother, kept saying is that he felt like he was an accident. His birth was an accident, blah, blah, blah. The last thing he tells his mother is, my birth was not an accident. When he tells her, I was not an accident, you're like, what? Right? Now, this all happens, the son's sad, he's like, no, Dad! You know, Dad's dead. Homegirl's looking at Kevin Wendell Crumb like, no, the horde, you died, no! She's having her moment, and the mother's crying over Mr. Glass, like, my baby, my son! Then the movie continues, and you're like, where's this going? So everything becomes revealed. To a certain degree, with Mr. Glass, because the so-called psychiatrist was kind of like, oh, you thought you were so clever, blah blah blah, we stopped you before you can get over there to do this big showdown, blah 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 blah. You guys technically are, like, you know, super beings. She does kind of confirm that, and she confirms it going, but we have been stopping you for, I think she says like 1,000 years or something like that. And she's like, we've been stopping you because there's been so many of you, and basically we've been doing this because it's not fair that the rest of us get to be ordinary and the rest of you are just basically gods amongst us. And you're just like, what? Hold up, so y'all got jealous that other people got abilities? So y'all just killing them off? Yo, that's straight up some X-Men bull. I won't lie, I was just like, I hate you. So she's talking about her organization, and then she just walks away and lets Mr. Glass die. And you're just like, And like his confirmation is fine. Now, mind you, during this whole time, right? So he's fiddling around, he's messing with stuff as he's going into the hospital during their last day there, right? Because he knows everyone's about to die. He sends everyone on a suicide mission, right? But during this time, because the institution, or this organization, right, had installed so many cameras throughout the mental institution that they had cameras at every angle of everything. Mr. Glass, being in the security room, after he killed a bunch of people, handicapped or not, he cut some throats, man. He had all their stuff recorded. Stuff that they can do, like inhuman things that they can do, like holy crap, superhuman kind of things. And all these things were being sent to a file so they can load somewhere else automatically. Now, the other thing that they threw in there is where the beast comes from, because this is where Mr. Glass death starts to fall into place. So someone puts together that the beast is actually the kid who was on the train in Unbreakable. So they piece everything together, like they tie up all kinds of loose ends, right? And when this is revealed to the beast, because this whole time he's been protecting Mr. Glass, because he's like, you know true suffering, you know this, you suffered all your life, I will, like, he decides he's gonna be like, because he wants the beast is not supposed to be evil, he's supposed to be someone who's the protector of those who have suffered. He's basically like a dark vigilante, like seriously on a whole other dark level. Like, have you suffered? No? I will fix that. Like like that's basically what the beast is. So once he discovers, like, wait, you're the reason why Kevin Wendell Crumb needed all of these personalities to survive, because you killed his father. And Mr. Glass is like, what? Why are you gonna tell him like that, son? Like, you couldn't just keep a secret for a little longer? So he just doesn't even go crazy on Mr. Glass. He just hits him once, like, BAM! And that's enough for Mr. Glass, and he knows that. He just like, anyways, and he goes back to Bruce. You're like, that's messed up. Like, you knew he wasn't even worth it. You're like, what? Now, being that all that I was so excited about in regards to the film, what I love was the consistent theme of, in a sense, like putting your mind to it. It's nearly impossible not to complete it. Like, if you really, really want to achieve something, you can do so if you put your mind to it. And if you let any sort of seeds of doubt, even super beings will begin to quote unquote lose their powers if they don't believe in themselves. Now, I thought that was such a subtle, very in the seam, sort of cool looking thing to put in there. I thought that was phenomenal. I love, like I said, James's performance in regards to the film, like the way he was able to switch between the personalities like it was nothing in the same scene. Oh my god, like that was amazing. I like how they tied up all three of the movies. And if you haven't seen all three movies, you need to sit down, watch Unbreakable first, watch The Split, and then turn around and watch Mr. Glass. Mr. Glass is the perfect ending. Now, I like Mr. Glass more than I like the other two, and I liked it just because I felt like from the end of the trilogy, it was a really nice, sweet ending. Because it left you open to, who is this organization? What is going on? Will they create another trilogy? Now, do the kids have abilities? Like, what else can you possibly create from this, with this organization going around killing superhuman beings, you know, before they really can do anything else, even if they're just trying to live quietly. I really, really enjoyed that, the fact that they really connected it. And then the last trilogy wasn't like guns, blah 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 blah, places, blah 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 blah, like anything to make it look cool or whatever. They kept the theme, consistent theme, like going. M. Night, you did a great job keeping that consistent, and that's really what I did enjoy. And I also like the fact that, like I said in my other video, that they leave you with the feeling of going, maybe superhumans are out there, and is there an organization killing them all off? Because everyone likes to think of like superhuman beings, and you think of them as like Superman, or you're thinking of Rogue and Storm, and they're like, oh no, get the mutants! Like, that's what you're thinking of. But Unbreakable, The Split, Mr. Glass, when you really look at it, they make it so realistic that you be sitting on the bus like looking at someone like, call that organization, or you just simply just go, can I hang out with you and can you lift stuff for me? I'm serious. If I saw some dude who was like super like ridiculously strong, I'm like, you, I need you to carry some stuff. Come on. But the movie is a lot of fun. Do not expect that Marvel DC like, oh, psh, 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 whoa. Like if you're expecting that, do not see the film because it's not going to be for you. I think it's a film for people who really enjoyed Unbreakable, The Split, and you're looking for something that sort of like gives you a thinking of conspiracies, things that are fun, or if you are a conspiracy theorist, yo, straight up watch this film. I think it's a lot of fun, especially once you see that the videos get revealed and people are like, oh god, I do think these people do exist, blah blah blah. You see like how the controversy is continuing to build, and it makes you think of all those YouTube videos where they show like, is this person really like a time traveler, or whatever the case is, whether you think those movies or videos are spoofs, hoax, or the truth. I definitely think this film is for you. I think it's a lot of fun. It's definitely a lot of fun, and it leaves a lot of room for conversation, especially if you want to find out if your friends are conspiracy theorists. Like, do you think it's real? I definitely would recommend it. I give it 5 out of 5 Cadmas. I'm kidding. I don't even know how to do the rating system. The rating system means nothing. I'm just making stuff up right now. But I do definitely would recommend it. I apologize for any of those who like, I didn't want to see any spoilers. No! There's one, okay, of me and Yellow talking about it without spoilers, so I think you should go check that one out instead. I apologize, M. Night, if you feel like I told everything, but I kept the secret for so long. I did so good. But yeah, I'm really excited about this film. I thought it was a lot of fun. It's one of my best Mezco dates for 2019. Wait a minute, it's my only Mezco date so far for 2019. More to come. Yeah, I think that's pretty much the basis of what I want to focus on. They did do flashbacks to the other films, so you can start to see the full connection. In case if you didn't see the other two, which I thought was really nice of them. In case if you didn't see the other two, you might be like, I don't get the reference. But if you did get the reference, that was what made it even better. Great job, everyone. James, everyone did such a great job. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I have no regrets about seeing that film whatsoever. I like movies that like provoke thought or provoke conversation, and that is definitely a trilogy movie that I feel definitely provokes conversation. And Samuel L. Jackson, yo, you played everyone like a fiddle. It's just that